In this video, I'm going to go over the symmetric constraint in Autodesk Inventor. So the symmetric constraint, what it does is it takes two pieces of geometry and it makes them symmetrical about a line of symmetry in the middle, or about just a line in the middle there. So to start with, let's take a look at this example at the bottom here. I have three lines. This vertical line here in the middle, this is my line of symmetry. So what I mean by that is I want the two other lines to be symmetric about this line here. Now, when we're talking about symmetry in lines, we're talking about the angle that the lines are running at. We can see right now that these two lines are definitely not at the same angle with this vertical line. So I'm going to activate my symmetric constraint up here in my constraint panel by left clicking on it. And now the order that you select your sketch features here does matter. You want to select the two lines that you want to be symmetrical first, and then the third thing you click on should be the line of symmetry. So I'm going to select the left line first because that's one of the lines that I want to be symmetric. I'm going to select the right line second because that's the other one. And then my third click is going to be my line of symmetry here, or this vertical line that I want them to be symmetric around. So you can see once I do that, it changes the angle of one of my lines. I get my constraint symbol pop up here saying these guys are symmetric with one another. And now if I check the angle that these lines are making, this angle should be the same on both sides, which it is here. So these two lines are now symmetric about this middle line. Now, we're not always limited to a vertical line. We can do that here with a non-vertical line here with my second example. So again, if I start, I can see my angle for this one is about 60 point something, and my angle for this other one is at 83 point something here. So definitely not equal. So I'm going to activate my symmetric constraint. I'm going to select the two lines that I want to be symmetric with one another. Then I'll select my line of symmetry, and then you'll see that it updates and it moved those lines again so that they share the same angle with that line of symmetry. So again, let's just double check that angle. So 83.72 and 83.72. So we can see that they are symmetric with one another. Now, one thing to note here is it's not making these lines exact copies of one another. So while it is making them symmetric or have the same angle, it's not making them the same length. And what I mean by that is if I make this really, really long here so we can see that this line here, this little lime green line here, is definitely not the same length as this guy down here. So it's not a perfect mirror. Now, that being said, when we deal with circles, circles will actually be the same size as well as in the same location on both sides of this line. Because they don't quite make the same angle with the line as lines do, that's how the symmetric constraint deals with circles. So if I activate the symmetric constraint, I select circle 1, I select circle 2, and then I select my line of symmetry. We can see that it moved the two circles so that they're the exact same size and they're also the exact same distance away from that line. And we can double check that here. So this one has a diameter of 104.334. So does this one. And if we take a look at their locations, this one's 129 something and 129 something. So we can see that with circles, it actually does make them the same size as well as the same distance away from that line there. So that's how we can use the symmetric geometric constraint in our 2D sketches in Autodesk Inventor.